In Intacct, within the General Ledger module, we have both financial accounts and statistical accounts. So financial accounts are going to, of course, track monetary value, and then your statistical accounts will track your operational data. And you can combine these accounts on reports. So let's say, for instance, you set up a statistical account for square footage. You can then run a report to divide out, say, revenue by square footage on a project. Your organization of accounts for reporting is done using account groups within the system, and that is to keep your GL accounts flat. So let's check out our general ledger accounts. And if I look at this, you'll see I have a 5-digit account structure. So if I click in to add a new account, you'll see anything in here with a red asterisk is required. So if I go to type in, let's say 10060, and you can't see this, but if I keep trying to type in numbers, it's not letting me. So the system is saying, no, it's supposed to be 5. I'm not going to let you do any more than that. And similarly, if I do less, and let's say I do checking 123 here, and everything with the red asterisk is filled in, whether or not it's correct. And then if I try to save, it's going to say, no, we're expecting it to be a length of 5. So the system knows you're not supposed to do 4 digits, and you're also not supposed to do any more than 5. So let's keep going with this then. So you put in your account number, you put in your title, and then your quick start category in the system is really important because it is how you're going to link up your GL accounts to your account groups, and your account groups are what your financial reports are built on. So if you want your general ledger accounts to appear on financial reports, you're going to have to link them to a quick start category. And quick start category here is not actually very dynamic. So for an example, I'll just type in expense or EXP and nothing's going to come up for me. But if you click on find, and then here in this section, this is a little better. If I put a little % sign before it, that gives me a wildcard. And if I press enter, then it's going to give me all of the expense accounts. And I'm just going to pick one randomly here. So I've picked my quick start category of bonus expense, and it has defaulted my account type, my normal balance, and my period end closing type. So your quick start category will default those 3 fields. And obviously this is not a bonus expense, so I am going to change this now, and I'm going to do cash and cash equivalents as my quick start category. And you can see that that's changed. So now my account type is balance sheet account, normal balance is debit, and the period end closing type has changed to non-closing account. So that was all defaulted from the quick start category. So your account type is going to be either balance sheet or income statement account. And your balance sheet account is going to be non-closing. Your income is going to be a closing account. Normal balance is either debit or credit. And that's going to determine how your account presents on a financial report. And then your period end closing type obviously going to be either non-closing or closing. And if you are closing, you're ordinarily going to close into retained earnings, unless you are a non-profit, in which case I believe close into net assets. So GL account alternative then relates to payables and receivables accounts, and gives you the opportunity to override the default account for your payables and receivables. Your status for your account is either going to be active or inactive. So there may come a time where you want to inactivate your general ledger accounts, but you don't want to get rid of all that data. So you're not deleting it, you're just going to inactivate it. You can disallow direct posting to an account. So this would be absolutely typical for security purposes. If you want the system to be driving posting into certain accounts like your payables, then you would disallow direct posting in those cases. When you're bringing in historical data, you're not going to want to have that checked off. But once you have all that data in, you could obviously turn that on and tighten up the security. Required dimensions then gives you the ability to do data entry control. So whenever transactions are being put into the system and they are hitting a particular GL account, you can require that users put in coding to each one of these dimensions. So it's as simple as just checking it off, and then the system will error out if they have not coded to those dimensions when they are putting in transactions for a specific GL account. And it would be absolutely typical for us to see project, cost code, and cost type to be selected. And also you may want people to be always coding to department. Things like that, whatever dimensions you require for your data entry control, you can turn them on here. We would recommend, though, when you're doing imports and stuff, that you leave these off, and just to make life easier for yourself when you're doing imports. And then, of course, once you get into your testing and stuff like that, you can turn on whatever dimensions you require. Location is on here as well, which I don't really understand why they put that there, because location is always required. So regardless of whether or not you have this turned on, you're going to have to put in location, because location is always required within an Intacct. So that is how you would set up your General Ledger account. And I am going to cancel out that because I don't need it. And I'm just going to show you back here on my view. I have my COA details view selected, which shows me my Quick Start category column over here. And as an example, this test checking that I had set up is not linked to a Quick Start category, which means that it is not part of any account group. So I will never see my test checking on a financial report. So if I go over to my account groups then, and I'm going to select my cash and cash equivalents, I'm going to look at the hierarchy on that account group, and it's going to show me the accounts that are linked to that category, which are part of the account group that makes up cash and cash equivalents. And my account that's set up called test checking is not part of this hierarchy. So I hope that that makes sense. So next up, what I'd like to show you is to do an import of General Ledger accounts. You would go to Company, Setup, Import Data, and I believe all these templates have already been sent over. But in here within your Company Setup checklist, you would go to Chart of Accounts, and it has the template here which you can download to put your information on to get it into the system. So I actually have that downloaded, and this is what that template is going to look like. And I have highlighted the fields that are required. So your required fields are basically going to be anything with a red asterisk when you're entering in your GL account. So account number, account name, whether it's a balance sheet or income statement, account type, if it is a credit or debit normal balance, if it is closing or non-closing, and then if it is closing, then which account is it closing to? So that's green instead of yellow because it's only required if it's a closing account. And then you'll see Quick Start categories over here, and that is actually not required, but I have it highlighted because you are definitely going to want to get your Quick Start categories assigned to your GL accounts so that you can pull them onto financial reports. And you don't want to be leaving this blank because otherwise you're going to have to go through and manually update all of those GL accounts to get your Quick Start category in. And your Quick Start categories, unfortunately, you can't add anymore and they cannot be edited. So you'll just have to look through them and find whatever it is that's closest to the category you think you need. So to look at those categories, you can go to General Ledger, Account Groups, and within Account Groups, then in the account group type over here, you can type in category, and it's going to bring up all of the different Quick Start categories for you. And then you actually have the option to export that out so that you can get a list of them. So that is your list of Quick Start categories, and that is putting in General Ledger accounts. And then that's it for this video.